Right, hello. So today, as you can see in the title, we're going to have a look at the block plane. So if you are interested in using one or buying one, or wondering what one is, then this is the video for you. If you like the video and you enjoy it, then hit like and subscribe. Right. So block plane. This block plane here. Is sort of a very old Stanley block plane made in England, and I got it on eBay for about 20 quid or something like that, which to me I think is absolutely fantastic value. It has an adjustable throat which will try to prevent tear out in really awkward timbers. It has obviously adjuster to get the exact sort of depth and thickness that you're looking for of cut, and it's just like, it also will have a really nice blade that it will come with, which you can get absolutely razor sharp. So yeah, but you can get different types of block plane, and this is a cheap one that you can get from, say, Wicks's or any other sort of DIY store. So I was just going to try and as you can see, this is like really flimsy. It's pressed steel. It's lightweight. It's probably not very square, and there's no way of adjusting the blade or anything like that, or with any accuracy. There's no turn. You have to move it with your hand, and you have to sort of like look down it and whatnot. So for me, there's no comparison. And if the only benefit of getting one of these over one of these is if you haven't got one and you need one for a job. And you need it immediately. Whereas if you wanted to try and get one of these off eBay or something, it might take maybe a week or something if you're tight like me and trying to get the right price. But anyway, these ain't very, very good. So I'd discount that one anyway. So let's show you the bits and pieces of this. So obviously cast iron body. It has, as you can see, a little turn buckle there, and then a throat. So if you look at the mouth there's a little bit of damage on my mouth, but it hasn't made any difference the way it works. But what this means is that you can make the throat bigger and smaller as you want. And what that means is that if you're getting tear out when you're playing in some really stubborn timber, you can close the throat right up and try and prevent it from pulling it out. And the reason it's adjustable is because if you're trying to take a slightly thicker cut, then all your timber will jam up in there. So you have to work out, or you have to just do a bit of trial error and try and work out what is the best for the timber that you're using at any moment in time. Blade, very simple, bit of steel, and it's got a little sort of slots in here, and they fit into the where do they fit? Oh yeah, they'll just slot onto those two little ridges there, and that will enable you as you're screwing this to make it go up and down. Okay. So the other thing about a block plane is that, or this particular block plane, is it's bevel up. So as you can see, it looks like it's a ridiculously shallow edge, but it's probably not that shallow in comparison to say a normal plane. That in comparison to say a normal sort of smoothing plane is significantly shallower, and that again is sort of tries to prevent the tear out and tries to just give you that crisper finish on end grain. So I mean, so really the block plane is designed for end grain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare a piece of timber, which, so here's a piece of oak, a bit of scrap, using a saw. That will give us a rough edge, and then I'll plane the edge, and then I'll put a chamfer on it, and I'll show you what you can do with this sort of with the block plane and what it's really designed for. So you wouldn't want to be using a block plane for handing in a door because it's just too small in it. But for fine stuff, for stubborn timber, then the block plane is really what you should be using. Careful not to blunt it when you put it back. Let's pop that in there. bit. Have a look. Have a look down it. So with everything, when you're doing a planing, always have a little practice first. If it's the final, if it's a really good piece and you haven't got any spare, and it's one cut, then take practice cuts on something else first. Otherwise, you'll might do something that you don't want to do. Pretty blunt. This needs another sharpen. So, what you can see now is that the end is pretty rough. There's a bit of breakout at the back there, but it should be pretty square. I can just about see the line. I've just about left the line in, just about. So pretty square, not bad. You'd be quite happy with that. Right, let's get into the vise. As you can see, a little bit rough. Get in the vise, nice and tight. Get your block plane. Now, as I say, practice on something first. So get the other end. Just check it's not cutting too much, because if it cuts too much, then it'll jag and you'll take out this bit out of the back. So that feels quite good. That feels it's just cutting. It's not sort of. It's not stopping. Might be a little bit. So let's take a little bit off. Just take a little bit off, a little bit of it. Is you know that you're roughly right. So you want to take virtually no material off, but you just want to take the saw marks out. So get it like that. Now, if you were doing this, or if I wasn't putting a chamfer around it, then I put a bit of timber at the back to stop the breakout. In fact, I'm going to do that. Higher. Let's give that a go. A bit more. Nice. Pretty flat, that's nice. Nice end grain. So, what we can do, you can just check to see if it was square. It's not quite square. It's pretty square though. Yeah. Good enough for me. Right. Now what I'm going to do, mark a chamfer on. Never use a gauge when you're doing a chamfer, because you'll never get the gauge mark out. You know what I mean by gauge, like a like a spike. There we go. So you can mark it with your finger, or you can do it freehand, or get your finger like that. Isn't it, with your finger like this? It should, yeah, it's not far away. Do the top. There we go, coming round. So now we've marked out our chamfer. Theory is it'll be square all round. So let's have a look. Go. Pardon me. You can really see it's so sharp. Ooh. Just have a couple more. Not too bad. That's the sort of thing, that sort of quality or finish that you can expect from a block plane, and that's obviously with no sanding or anything like that. But as you can see, pretty accurate. Not bad for a go after about 20 years, is it? So, if you want anything else about a block plane, or if you want anything, leave a comment below. If you like what you've seen, hit like and subscribe. Right, thanks very much. Right, cheers.